Last month, we were expecting 22K actually. This month, I just checked the honeybook again and it was at 37. So yeah.
Which is insane.
In
So
the month.
I think you can really raise your prices as your business grow. And I think there's really no rule as long as you're being reasonable and you know you can deliver. I had a body set up on a tripod for the reception. And the DJ just basically dropped our camera that was on a tripod and the lens broke. It was like shattered. Yeah.
the DJ knocked over your tripod.
Yeah, he knocked it
and
over.
it shattered
yeah.
your lens.
Is it possible to make in 2 months what you made in all of last year? Well, that is the story we are talking about today with Louelle from Dulce Studios and Novella Creative up in Canada. She is a wedding and brand photographer and filmmaker. She's figured out a way to do both of those things, and she's also figured out a way to surpass her income of the entire last year in just these last 2 months. We are stoked to have this conversation with Louelle where we talk about pricing, we talk about brand, we talk about how do you balance doing weddings and brands, and what does that actually look like for your offers. She literally opens up her pricing of last year only making around $50,000, $60,000 to this year absolutely crushing it. So you are going to love leaning into this episode and learning from Louelle in this very interesting conversation about what she's been able to do in her business. And if you're sitting there going, you know what, I would love to be surrounded with creatives like Louelle. I would love to have someone get their hands in my business because I feel like I'm stuck income to income of year after year and sticking at the same place. And I want to be able to break through and actually hit 6 figures for the first time in your business. We are opening up enrollment for our Creative Rise Mastermind at the end of August. August 19th, we are opening up enrollment. We're only taking 10 people in the Creative Rise Mastermind, and we're going to be getting started in September. We are so excited for this. So if you want to join a group of creatives like Louelle and you want to pursue building a foundation for a 6-figure business, we would love to lock arms with you. August 19th is when applications drop. And as I said, we're only taking 10 creatives. So if you want to be a part of that, go to creativerise.com, join the waitlist to get early access for the coveted 10 spots. We are so excited for that. So that's going to be amazing. But guys, you are not ready for this episode. It is going to be so good. Here's Louelle.
Louelle, welcome to the podcast. So glad
Hello.
to have you on today. We have been looking forward to this conversation very transparently. Christy and I were on vacation last week, and we knew this was coming the second we got home. We got home late last night, and we've been so excited. So we've been looking forward to hanging out and getting to chat with you for a bit.
Welcome to the pod, Louelle.
Thank you. Thank you. How was your vacation?
It was awesome.
It was
I got very
awesome, yeah.
sunburned, which was great.
Yeah, we had a blast.
Yeah.
We had a blast. But like I said, we were looking forward to coming home and jumping on into this with
I
you.
know,
So
because you have such cool wins, and we are so excited to get into that. The wins and also the flops and all of the things that you've learned in between. And this is going to be a really cool podcast. So
Yeah.
first, as always, we love to start with rapid fire questions. So Louelle, where are you from and what do you do? We'll start with those
Yes.
easy ones.
So I am from Ontario, Canada. I'm specifically Stratford Mitchell area, and
Justin Bieber's hometown.
Yes,
home of the beads.
he's my neighbor.
Yeah.
And I do a bunch of things. I'm a brand photographer, videographer. We have a creative content agency that I run with my husband, and as well as wedding studio photography and filmmaking.
That is
I love it.
amazing.
And what are each of your brands called, just for everybody that's newer to your world? Because the names of your brands are really
I
beautiful.
love them.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So the brand side is called the Novella Creative Media. So that one is focusing on the brand side of things. And then the other one is actually called Dulce Studios. So that one is more for the wedding side of things. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
So cool. So
And-
elegant. I
And
love
when did you get started in your creative career?
Yeah, so I was actually checking LinkedIn to see when I started.
I
Just
love
like
that.
right
That's
before
awesome.
this podcast, I was like,
That's
I always
awesome.
mix it up because I was like, I always tell people like, oh, around like 2 years, 3 years, but I was like, oh, maybe it's like more than that now. But I started in 2022 per LinkedIn.
Amazing.
Yeah, like
love it.
officially. So yeah.
I
Love it. That's
LinkedIn can be the golden thread here for us
Yes.
all to know exactly when we started. Louelle, what do you so you're in Ontario, you're running both the wedding business and the brand business, photo, video, the whole deal with your husband, which is awesome. How long have you two been doing it together? Because you started a couple years ago, but how long have you been doing it together? The whole time, or just of more recent, last year and a half?
Yeah, I would say officially for a year now. He started with me last year officially. Throughout this time, he's been, working involuntarily for me, like with me and just helping me out, just doing
Yeah.
like second shooting, just getting some experiences. And then all of a sudden, one day I was like, oh, why don't you like start video and then teach me? So then I don't have to dedicate extra time to like learning all of that. And then
Yes.
luckily, he ended up liking video. And so now here we are.
I love that.
it.
He was voluntold, as we like to say.
Voluntold.
You are voluntold to come with me on all my jobs and help me out. I feel like couples totally
Yes.
get that. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, we love to play a little game. It's kill, date, or marry between Sony, Canon, or iPhone, unless you want to sub one of those camera brands out.
No,
Kill,
I think
date,
that
or marry.
Yeah.
That works.
Yes, that works. I think I will definitely marry Canon. I feel like I'm in way too deep now.
Yeah, girl.
Yeah. So, but right now I think I wanna kill. Can I kill both iPhone?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
So savage,
Yeah,
and I
I like
love
that.
it. Give us why. Why are you kill both?
Yeah, I would kill both because I feel like I've been wanting to try Sony, but I just don't want to get distracted right now. So I just want to kill Sony.
Just
Yeah.
cut the distractions. Yeah.
Just want to murder
Yeah.
Sony.
Life's too short to be
Take away
distracted.
the
Louelle. I love
temptation.
it.
Exactly, because like I've been seeing it, especially like today. I think they dropped like the FX5. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
it's
the
so
FX5 just
small
dropped.
and pretty, and I was like, it makes me think that I can actually carry like a gimbal and a body with a big lens. But I was like, no, I'm gotta stick to Canon now.
Yeah. Hey, interested, just for
Love
everybody
that.
who's
I love
listening,
that.
obviously you're a Canon girl. What do you guys shoot on?
Yes. So for video specifically, we have C50, and then we have R5C, and then for photo, we have R5 Mark II, which is great because it can shoot both photo and video very,
Yeah,
very well.
super good camera.
And then R6 Mark II as like more like a backup body that we
Backup,
have.
yep.
Yeah. And then
Sick.
Lens's current favorite right now. Oh, sorry, I interrupted you, Joey.
Oh,
No,
no, I
go
said
ahead,
sweet.
keep
Yeah, go
going.
ahead. Keep going. What's the lens?
Yeah, lens favorite right now is 24 to 105 and then 15 to 35 for video for most things. Yeah.
Sick.
Cool.
Is the 24 to 105, is that the new 2.8 that Canon has?
I think so. The one with letter Z at the end is like 2.8.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the
something
2.8.
that-
Yeah.
yeah.
Because they've had an F4 for a long time, and now they've got the 2.8. We just got the
Oh.
24 to 105 2.8 recently. It's sick. So
Yeah.
I'm
It's
like
so
I'm
good.
like a one lens man now. I just shoot on that almost for everything, which is cool. So, anyways,
is massive.
we're gonna get into business stuff, Louelle, because
Right.
you and Richard have been crushing. Why don't you just quickly give us a picture, give everybody listening a picture of what you just told us prior to us hitting record? Because this is insane. Like, Louelle, we first met you, I think, was it last September?
last September.
Of 2025, I believe. And
Yes.
you had joined the Creative Rise Mastermind, and we got to help you build some really solid foundations, some six-figure foundations to build your business to where it's at today. And the report has always been awesome. You've always had great wins, as you've been building. But the last couple months have been really, really crazy. And they've actually been crazier than you even knew they were. So fill everybody in on
Yeah.
what you
Yes.
told Christy and I right before we started recording.
Yeah, I already forgot what I was talking to you guys about earlier. So let me see, where can I start? Yeah, so basically what happened was that when I joined the mastermind, I was trying to build back up the wedding side of things because I was focused for 3 years with Novella, which is like the brand side of things, right? So then I was like, oh, I feel like I need a little bit more, like, I don't want to just like guess now. I want like a clear foundation on how I can build our wedding business again. So then last year was mostly like deposits and retainer. So that was like our monthly income last year. And then this year was a combination of like monthly retainer and then the final payments from last year's bookings, right? So which was great. So then, yeah, again, like earlier this year, it was a little bit quiet because we were focusing more on like deposits. And then all of a sudden, last month, we were expecting 20K, 22K actually. And then this month, I just checked the honeybook again and it was at 37K. So yeah.
which is insane.
In
So
the month.
I want to highlight this
In a
because I think it's so fun when someone's, because you actually told us like last week, you're like, hey, last month was my first ever 20K month. And then this month is on route to do 27K, which is amazing. And we were like, oh my gosh, Louelle, like golf clap for that. That's incredible.
Big clap for that.
And then you said to us, and then I checked my honey book this morning and I'm actually on track for 37.
Which kind of honestly,
was
Louelle,
like,
ruins,
that's awesome.
kind of ruins the title that I was going to go with, back-to-back 20K months. So now we're going to have to figure out a totally new title for this episode.
You're too good for that title,
You're too
Louelle.
good for that. It's amazing.
I'm
Yeah.
so sorry, Christy.
Thank you. I appreciate that apology. That's amazing, Louelle, to have back-to-back, you had $20,000 a month, which you dropped into our, because you're a part of our community, and you dropped it in, you're like, guys, a $20,000 a month. And we were like, that's so amazing. And then the next month, it's like, I accidentally hit $37,000 the next month. We are so excited to break down how this happened, what you're doing, how it's split between running a business with brands and a business with weddings, and how a lot of people want to do that. And so I'm really excited to dive into it, how you're doing all these incredible things. But first, I want to start with my favorite question, which is,
I totally skipped this, didn't I?
it's okay, I segued into it.
I apologize. That was smooth.
Thank you. It was very smooth. Until you pointed it out, it was really smooth. What is a flop that you have had, Louelle? What is an embarrassing moment, something that happened in this business over the last however many years you've been in it now, since 2022?
Yeah.
What's a flop?
Okay, I was thinking about this earlier. I was like, what can I share that is not, gonna trigger anybody? But then, so I was
The
like
best ones do
running like
trigger.
some ideas. I know, right? So I was like running some ideas to Richard. I was like, oh, this happened. He was like, no, don't share that one. I was like, okay. This one I got approval. So during like one of our first weddings, I had a body set up on a tripod. It was before the couple walked in for their first look of for the reception, and the DJ just basically dropped our camera that was on a tripod, and the lens broke. Yeah, it was like shattered. Yeah,
The DJ knocked over your tripod.
yeah, he knocked it
And
over.
it shattered
yeah.
your lens.
Oh,
Shattered my lens. Mhm.
Did the DJ pay
Yeah.
for it, or did the DJ act like it didn't happen?
It was a very difficult conversation with him, but in the end, he did end up paying for it. Not the full thing, but I was just like happy to be done dealing with that conversation with the DJ. So I was just like, at least it's done now. But yeah, it was crazy when it happened though, because I just left it for like less than like 3 minutes, went to the back room, checked something in my bag, and then I heard something fell, and then I was like, oh my gosh, I hope like they're okay. So then I went out, the coordinators were looking at me, they were like, I think it's your camera. I was like, oh, like my heart just dropped, and I was like, I hope it's okay. So then I looked at it, I was like, oh, the body looks fine, and I was like, why is everything blurry? Then I looked at the lens, it was just a Tamron 70-200. So it wasn't super expensive, but definitely needed that lens during reception.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
No, that's
The
so
DJ.
bad. What a DJ flop, in my opinion. That's a DJ flop right
Why
there.
does that just not surprise me? I feel
Oh,
like DJs.
be nice to the DJs.
I want to be nice to the
They
DJs.
are.
I just feel like
so many of them
DJs.
are really great.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. I'm just saying, like,
Maybe not that one.
it's just
Maybe
a
not that
DJ
one.
move, you know? Okay.
Oh no,
Yeah.
that's so bad. Well, that's a
Goodness
good
gracious,
flop, and that
that-
is triggering for maybe many people, DJs included. But that's a good.
That's
flop.
a great lens, though. That Tamron 7200 is a great lens. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, it's
devastating
not
that you
bad,
needed it and
and-
you couldn't use it.
Yeah, and I got it for a very good price. And yeah, and that whole conversation was just like, just like,
Yes.
oh, when can we wrap this
Awkward.
up?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awkward.
very
Super awkward.
awkward.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I love that. That just humanizes that. You know what? Even in great businesses, bad things happen, which is the whole
Yeah.
point of flops. But yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Louelle, take me to how do you currently feel about your business right now? We're gonna get into like what are
Yeah.
you working on? What are the offers you're selling? How can people replicate some of the success you're having? It's the whole reason why this podcast exists. You know that. But like, take me to how does it feel to have made $57,000 in the last 2 months? Literally the last 2 months, which is absolutely wild. I mean, that is a whole year's income for a lot of creatives, right?
Yeah.
If you make 60 grand in a year as a self-employed creative, like that's awesome. Like that's successful. You've gotten to do that in the last 2 months. What does that feel like? Like, what does it look like behind the scenes with you and Richard? Are you guys celebrating that? Are you mind blown?
Are you surprised?
Are you
Is it, like,
surprised? Like, talk
anticipated?
me through what you're feeling having basically $57,000 come in the last 60 days.
Honestly, it was very surprising and it was very unreal for us. I remember like when we signed a contract, I just hear Richard like running, coming down the stairs, and I was like, "Oh, is something like what's happening? Like why are you so excited?" He was like, "Somebody just signed, and we're just waiting for them to like to pay with the retainer to like actually close the deal, right?" And then when they paid, we just sat down in silence. We're like, "Oh my gosh, I think we're gonna hit like 100K this year." And then
Mm.
so again, I like quickly did the math and I was like, okay, I think we are like projected 110 this year. And then we're just like, are you sure? Like we're just like really confirming all the logistics, right? And I was like, yeah, I think so. And then after that, we drove to church. Of course it was closed, but then yeah, we just like gave thanks, and we're just like so surprised that this is happening to us. And it was crazy because last couple of years I was making around like 50 to 70K, but I was like so burnt out to the point I was like, I
Mm.
can't take on more clients. Like I
Yeah.
just don't see it myself like growing, our business growing. So then when this happened, I was like, oh, how come I feel less stressed now but making so much more compared to the last couple of years, and I feel like I can still take on clients. So yeah, it just made
Mm.
me feel like there's really growth from this point on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Oh, what a
amazing.
great feeling to be
That
like,
is
I feel like,
awesome.
because I know that feeling, right? Where you're like, I don't know how to make more money because I'm working as much as I can. That
Yes.
is a problem that is super relatable. I'm sure if you're listening to the
Yes.
pod today, you can relate with us and with Luelle. We all hit a point where it's like, I'm working as many hours as I can. Something needs to change, but it can't be me because I'm already putting in all the work. So like,
Right.
what is the problem here? Like, I'm
Yeah.
burning myself out and I'm
Mhm.
making a living, but like maybe it's not as much as you want. And you guys are absolutely going to hit a 6-figure year this year. I mean, you've made over half of that just in the last 2 months, which is incredible. And you've signed some awesome retainers on the brand side. We'll get into all that stuff in a second here.
Yeah.
But Luelle, that's so awesome. Also, so cool that you and Richard get to celebrate the way you do. That's awesome. But take me through like what take me back to the moment where you did feel like, how are we going to scale this thing?
Yeah.
Because I think that's super relatable for a lot of people listening to the pod
Mhm.
today. Like, they're working a ton, they feel like they're doing the right things, but they're just feeling like they're burning themselves out for maybe a good living, but like not a great living. And so, what are some of the problems you feel like you were really able to kind of diagnose? If you could take yourself back there, like, why were you burning yourself out, and why were you only able to
Mhm.
make like $50,000, $60,000 that year? And what have you changed that's actually allowed you to see and find more scale in the business, while also finding it a lot more enjoyable and you're not burning out?
Yeah, I think back then I had my offers weren't super clear, and
Mm.
also the investment was not really reflecting the value that I was giving to the clients. So
Do
then
you
I was
remember,
actually
sorry to interrupt you, do you remember how much you were charging for things back then? Like when you think of like, oh, when I was just at my lowest where I'm just grinding but feeling like I'm not making equal to the value I'm giving. Do you remember like what you were doing, what you were charging, all of that?
Give us an example on the wedding side and the
Yeah.
brand side.
Yeah, so for the wedding side, I was charging, oh my gosh, I'm even so embarrassed to say this. I feel like this would be a flop story. But
Second flop.
yes, right? So for videos, we were charging 1,700 for like a full 8 hour. And that was with a teaser and like a highlight. And then if they wanted like a documentary edit, it would have been 2,200, 300, let's say,
Mm.
rounded up.
Yep.
And then photo was around 2,600 around that year before we joined the mastermind. And then both photo and video was around 4,500 at that
Yep.
time. And then with the brand side, brand photography was 500 and video also was $500. And then it was like a full scope of like, 30 to 50 photos, like 4 hours on set with
Mm.
talent coordination, whole campaign, like the whole concept and
Wow.
all the creative direction. Yeah. So like the full campaign shoot was $500 per hour. And then, or for the whole thing. And then for social media management, I believe it was around $1,500 per month. And at that time, my retainers were actually lower than that. They negotiated at that time. It was like ended up becoming like $800 per month.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was painful.
I know there are people listening where they're like, Louelle just literally read my price sheet. Like what? Like that is literally what I charge. Like what the heck?
Or it's more than I charge.
Or it's way more than I charge. And you're like, wait, that's my goal like thing to shoot for weddings, or that's my goal for brands. So how much were you shooting then? Like how many weddings were you taking on? How many brand shoots were you taking on? What did life look like in that way?
Back then we weren't shooting a lot of weddings. I can't remember exactly how many, but we did because last year that was our pricing, and we did book some weddings with that price that we're shooting this year. So it's still great though, because it's still great for portfolio, and many of the couples that we ended up booking are honestly very, very great. So we're grateful for that. But with the brand side of things, I believe I didn't have a lot of retainers, but I would say I had about 4 at that time when I was charging with those prices.
Okay.
Yeah. And then some one-off shoes.
Yeah. One last question about that. Did you find it hard to sell clients at that price? Did you feel like every person that came in said yes because it was low, or did you find that you were actually struggling to land clients at that price?
At that price, I found it even harder to land clients and to close the deals with them. Especially with the wedding side of things too, like we saw like a big difference between, with that investment guide that we have versus the one that we have now is a lot less conversation with the budget. It was more about like, okay, so what are we gonna do? Like how are you gonna approach the day? It's more about that rather than the investment. Yeah.
Oh, there's so
brilliant.
much good stuff to
All
dig
right,
into.
well, let's sink our teeth into that, because I can see Christy leading you kind of into that question, and it's a brilliant question, Louelle, and I'm so glad that you can answer it.
We didn't prep well for any of these questions.
No,
we only told her about the flop, and that was it.
Yeah, like
so
Louelle, that's such a
good.
great answer, because we have been noticing for years that there is a kind of a thesis, if you will, with pricing strategy, which is there is such thing as red flag pricing, where either your pricing is so astronomically high that people don't associate the price with the value they're assuming they're going to get from you, and it just doesn't make any sense and they get sticker shock. Or there's red flag pricing where the pricing doesn't look to be valued at actually what the perceived value of working with you is. They're going to look at, your 2 brands, because your brands are beautiful and you and Richard are so talented, and go, oh my gosh. And we've had this conversation. I think we had this conversation in the mastermind where we looked at your work and we said, you look like you could be charging $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 if you're doing it together for weddings. Like, your quality of work is incredible. So when you give them a quote back in the day when your pricing guides were, your pricing, your investment sheet was a lot lower, people are going to look at that and go, well, she looks like she's really good at what she does. Like, her quality of work's amazing. Why is she so much cheaper than I thought she would be?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what that does to our brains is it sets off a little red flag, and then it starts to have people ask the question, well, what is she maybe not doing that somebody else is? Or what am I going to be missing out on? And we're over here as the creative, right? Or you're over there as the creative on the other side of the screen on a sales call going like, no, it's just a good deal. But it's hard for people to sometimes associate those two things, which is really ironic, but it's just how it goes. So, well, Christy, explain this a little bit more, because we've gotten to deal with this with so many creatives as you've kind of helped them rework their pricing, specifically in the wedding space.
I think everyone, and Louelle, you can tell me if you agree with this. I think everyone thinks like, oh, if I lower my prices, I'll get more clients. But it just doesn't always work that way. Like, sometimes maybe. And sometimes people go, oh, well, it's because you're just attracting budget people. But I actually think that when your price is leveled up to the amount of value you have and it makes sense and it clicks for a client, they'll go, even if it's higher than they wanted to spend, they'll go, ooh, I get that though. Right? It almost shows self-respect in that way. Do you feel that way? Do you feel like there's a level of respect that you have now that, and we're going to get into what you're charging now, but a level of respect that's just different when you hop on sales calls with people?
Yeah, honestly, like, it gives us more self-respect, and then I just feel like I started to like value more about like what we do, and I feel that right now is even reflected to the client side of things, and we again like we kind of like see the difference the way that people accept us in a consultation call also. So yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
so
And just
cool.
the trust factor is so different, right? Like, I think that's also the thing. Like, you have a wedding person or you have a brand person and they have a problem that they want solved well, right? Like, the brand owner needs X, Y, and Z for their business. And it's like life or death, whether or not they're going to sell more of their product or their service. And so they need you. Or someone in the wedding space, they're like, I'm only getting married once. Like, I want this captured well. And when there's red flag pricing, it makes them go, ooh, can I really trust this person to do it? So maybe a little takeaway for people listening, if your prices are low and people aren't booking you, maybe you don't need to actually change much other than just your pricing. Like test it, send out the next quote and make it double the price and see what happens, right? You might find something there, which is really cool. So
Well, and one of the beautiful things that is great about raising your prices is often when you do raise your prices, something also shifts in you where you're like,
Yes.
I got to start now showing up as someone who markets themselves differently.
Yeah.
Or I got to show up on calls with clients differently, right? I
Yeah.
got to show up at a wedding differently because, again, I'm carrying a
Yeah.
higher end experience just even psychologically when you know your prices
Yeah.
are higher, which, Louelle, would you say that you and Richard feel like that has been also the case for you?
Yes, for sure. Like right now, we're with the prices that we're charging, we feel more inspired to show up in the best, the best way possible, and
Yeah.
really focus on a great client experience. And we're able to take on less weddings and really focus and dedicate more time with the couples that we work with because with
Yeah.
the new pricing that we have. Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah, I love it.
Well, Louelle, why don't you share what is your pricing now? So before you were starting at like the $1,700 mark when it came to weddings, and then $500 for brands. Where are you at now? Where does pricing land?
Yeah, right now our starting is 6,000, 599, 5,999.
Yeah, and is that just for
Yeah,
photo?
very nice.
Love it.
That's just for photo, yes.
Okay, what's the photo and video?
Photo and video is 10,700.
Okay,
Awesome.
sweet. So it's like you've basically doubled it and taken a little bit off to incentivize people to book you for both, which is great.
Yes.
Super smart.
Yeah,
So
that's great.
you've gone from theoretically like $4,000 per wedding if they were to book you for photo and video to 10.7 thousand. I mean, you've over doubled the amount of money you're making on a day.
And Louelle, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's just within the last like year and a bit, right? Like that price jump. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we actually made 2 jumps with prices. This is the second jump that we've made, and honestly, we've received more inquiries with this rate now compared to the last 2 pricings that we've had.
Oh,
Come
I
on.
love that. I love
We love
that.
to hear that. I love to
That
hear
is
that.
so good.
Louelle, this is a question that we get asked all the time. I would love to know what you think about this. Some people believe, and they say to us, well, I think I'm going to raise my prices, but I'm going to wait till next year to do it because you can only raise your prices once a year. True or false to you?
False.
Why false?
Immediate false. Because like there's so many aspects that really go into it, but I think you can really raise your prices as your business grow, right? If demand grows, then you can definitely increase your price. And I think there's really no rule when it comes to increasing your prices, as long as you're being reasonable and you know you can deliver and provide the client experience that you are advertising, then I don't see any problem at all with changing your prices, like, I don't know, like 3 times a year. How many, like,
Yeah.
it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever you want, actually. This
Yeah.
is what Christy and I always say. That's such
For
a great
sure.
answer, Louelle. As demand goes up, so should your ability to raise your prices, which
Yeah.
I think is great. Even
is
if
so
demand is
awesome.
not going up, as we kind of talked about a second ago, sometimes if demand's not going up, your pricing might actually be the problem, and you need to raise it
Yeah.
so that it matches your value and people aren't getting red flag pricing,
Yeah.
from you, right? Which is important. So here's a question that I got. Actually, sorry. Before we jump to the question I was going to ask you, Louelle, bring us back to, and that's on the wedding side. What does
Yeah.
the brand pricing look like? You said you used to do days for like $500 for the full day. What's it
Yeah.
look like now?
Right now, I think my starting for a full day is around 6,300. And
Great.
that one, it really depends on the client, but
Yeah.
my recent big wins, the last couple of months were around that price range. And most of them were like a 2-day type of photo shoots. So it's like $6,000 to $8,000 per day.
Love
Love
it.
it. That's
And what are
great.
you delivering when you're working with brands? Give me an example of like an
Yeah.
industry that you're working in the brand world, and then give me an example of what a $6,000 or $7,000 package would actually deliver on for everyone who's like, wow, she does weddings and brands. What's that look like?
So our clientele right now are mostly corporate. One would be in a construction world, and then the other one is a corporate hair salon company here in Canada. And yeah, so with a 6,500, it would be more like a lifestyle brand type of photo shoot with video, and deliverable wise is around up to like 50 photos, I would say. And then within video, it would be mostly like social videos. So up to 30 seconds for 5 videos. So that was my deliverable for like a recent client. And that one was a 6,500. And then that one was for 2 days. They actually flew me to Edmonton. No,
Yeah.
Calgary. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that one was very
Nice.
fun. So that was my very first, I guess, out of province brand photo shoot where everything was separate from, where travel expenses were like separate from the actual shoot investment. So that was
Yeah.
very cool. And then the other one was around $8,000. So that one would be with a construction company, just because with all the logistics scopes that comes with that. But it was mostly like brand films, so
Yeah.
like corporate videos, and then other product highlight videos that they have.
I love it.
Nice.
So cool.
That's great.
Well, I want to jump back to a question that, or actually a statement that you made earlier on when we were talking about pricing. You were saying, as I've raised my prices, it's gotten easier to sell people, and I have more people just wanting to work with me, but they're not looking at the same things in my investment guide that really like lower, cheaper clientele would be looking at. You mentioned how, when your prices were like $1,500, $2,000, $3,000 per wedding, a lot of people were wanting to talk to you about price. Now that your prices are more like $6,000 to $10,000 per wedding, you're like, well, now they actually just want to know about like process. So talk to me through the difference there, because I think it's really important that we kind of put a finger on the idea that as you jump clientele, different tiers of clientele on the scale of low end to extremely high end and luxury, different tiers of clientele have different questions, different focus points on what a working relationship looks like and what a deal really looks like as they structure, a working relationship and a deal. So why don't you walk us through like what are some of the differences between lower end clientele and more of a high end clientele in the booking process and the things that they seem to care about?
Yeah. So what I've noticed with the lower end clientele that we've had, they were more focused about the hours. Is like our hours going to be on their wedding day, versus now our clients are less focused on the hours, and they're more like, how can we achieve my vision? How would that look like? What's the process like when it comes to that? And then after that, after I've explained to them like how we really get to know them and execute their vision, and how we're going to have vision calls and things like that, they are a lot more receptive to the consultation call that we're having. Versus with the lower end client, I remember like waiting for them to sign like a month later and everything, versus now they sign within like 24 hours or within a couple of
Yeah.
days.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that, Louelle. So why don't we talk about, for the person who's like, great, I would love to raise my prices. I'm going to, because that's probably going to help. But also, I'm kind of afraid because not a lot of people are reaching out. Like I don't have anyone to even tell my prices to. How has lead generation looked for you over the last couple years? From maybe some areas of low points, and then what did you do to adjust that? And so, like, what were actions you took in order to generate more leads? What are the things that you found success in? Let's start with the wedding space first, and then we'll go into the brand space. But specifically in weddings, how have you found yourself to generate leads for inquiries?
Yeah, so before I was very focused on organic marketing for both wedding and brands actually. And then I started exploring ads because of you guys. So you guys actually introduced me to paid ads. So the way I saw it and the way you guys pictured it for us for me specifically was that is like an automation for your content to be constantly to be pushed out and for people to see you. And how can people book you if they don't see you, right? So
Yeah.
our goal since last year, since we started Mastermind, is to just like really increase our brand recognition through and brand awareness through paid ads. And it's been like the biggest game changer, and we've seen like amazing results. Like I think we tripled our bookings because of paid ads.
I
Wow.
love that.
Now, the first thing that people often think when they hear, oh, Louelle just hit basically $60,000 of revenue in the last 2 months, and she said she's using ads. Well, that's probably not going to work for me because Louelle probably spent $20,000 on ads in the last 2 months. How much money did you actually spend on ads in the last, let's say, 2 months? Give me an idea.
The last 2 months, I would say maybe maximum like $200 to $300.
So
Yeah.
that is
It's
insane.
a good ROI right there.
That is insane. You just said we tripled our bookings because of ads. Yet you and Richard are only spending like $200 to $300 per month on ads, which is incredible. And I feel like so many people are still not taking us seriously when we talk about how great running paid ad funnels is. And I love the way you put it, Louelle. And this is something that we talked about heavily in the workshop when we were working with you and everybody else in the mastermind running through the ads workshop is like, it's super important that you see ads as an idea of like, this is going to allow me to not have to stress every single day about like, what am I posting? What am I posting? Organic. Now, organic is very important to help supplement the ads, but paid ads is a phenomenal way to automate, like you said, your brand getting in front of people, your brand recognition going way up. And we actually did a podcast last week on the idea of time on brand and how time on brand is a massive indicator if someone's going to want to book you, if they feel like they know Louelle, if they feel like they've spent time in your content, looking through your investment guide on your website, like the odds of them booking you, if that's all happened, goes way up. Time on brand is incredibly important, and ads are a huge catalyst to that. So why don't we talk through a little bit of the ad strategy, Louelle?
Yeah.
Like when you say, okay, we're spending $200 to $300 per month on ads, and they've tripled the amount of bookings you've gotten in your business, what are some of the actually, let's just get real simple. What is the funnel you're using for ads? Like, they see the ad, where do they go? What action do they take? And how do they end up becoming a client? Walk us through the simple funnel.
Yeah, so I think with a workshop that I did with you guys, the first ad is supposed to increase traffic, right? So I have just like one ad for the brand side. I believe one of my ads was a pin post, and honestly, I completely forgot that it was still running, and I just kept getting like inquiries. I was like, oh, I wonder why. I was like, oh, it was the ads that I put out like 3 months ago. So it was like the traffic focus ad, and then the other one was the retargeting. So then whoever like visit your profile, they will still like constantly getting your portfolio shown to them.
I love that.
Yeah, I know you're doing the same thing for the weddings. You got a traffic ad that you're showing to as many people as you can to say, hey, come click on my account, come view my work, or educating them on something. And then they see your account, maybe they click a couple photos, maybe they follow you, they like something, and immediately they end up in a retargeting audience that now you're retargeting them with an ad that's a little bit more of a hard sell. And that ad then takes them where? Does that go straight to the inquiry page on your website?
Does it go to your
Are you
Instagram?
doing a DM funnel where it's like, hey, DM me this, and then you'll chat via DMs? What's the funnel look like for you after that?
The funnel, like the actual direction where they're going to land, would be just our Instagram page.
Nice.
Love it.
That's great.
For both sides.
And then they're just jumping on your website from there, inquiring. Awesome. So point is, it's not complicated. Louelle is simply running a top of funnel ad that helps get people that don't know who she is to say, oh, this is Louelle. Cool. She's got really great work. Her and her husband shoot amazing stuff in both the wedding space and the brand space. Amazing. I should follow her. They click follow or they like some of her content. They end up in a retargeting campaign that then retargets them with a even deeper ad that's like, hey, now booking or come work with us, right? And then they come back to your profile, they click on your website, and they fill out an inquiry form, and you get more inquiries. What happens after somebody inquires with you? Give us like a little snippet of what your customer experience looks like once they inquire with you. Do you get them straight on a sales call? Do you go back and forth via email?
Yeah, so with the process, with our inquiry process right now. Everything's pretty automated, and so far it's been working well. I've heard different approaches to this, but this one's working for us specifically. Basically, before they even submit an inquiry form with us, they will have to book a call. Because so I feel like it's just like on a consumer side of things, it's a lot less work for them, less brain power, that they know like, okay, I gotta select a date and then fill out the information, and then I'm already in their calendar. And we prefer that way, just because that way we already have them in our calendar, and then we can nurture them through email till they actually decide hop on a call or cancel the call, which is also win for us, because if they cancel the call, so then that way we don't dedicate extra time. Waste time. We don't end up wasting our time on that call.
That's great.
And running a call funnel is really important if you are mildly to incredibly busy, right? As you start to get more busy, you don't want to waste your time with people via going back and forth trying to get them on a call if they're really not too serious about booking you. So I love how you are like, hey, we're busy now, our business is growing, we've tripled the size of our business, and so we really need to focus on making sure that when we get on a call with a lead, they are qualified or as qualified as possible. And one of the best ways to do that is by forcing them, as you said, you force them to book a call while they're actually submitting their inquiry, which is really great, because if they don't end up booking, well, they probably weren't that serious about working with you.
Yeah. When do you reveal pricing? Do you send, after they book they fill out the inquiry form, they book the call with you, do you immediately send them pricing, or do you show them pricing on the call?
Yeah. So the whole process is that actually I think 99% of information is all on our website. So we just feel that if, I personally, I wouldn't hop on a call with any vendor if I don't know if I don't have any ranges to expect from them. So we put all our investment guide online. Like everything is on our website. We're very, very transparent. Like, this is the investment. And so if that sounds good to you guys, then let's hop on a call and see if it's actually like a good fit, and see if our process match, and if it works for you, how we can so then that way the call just ends up becoming more about what type of service are you guys looking for, or like, this is the experience that you guys will have with us, rather than like still going through like the pricing with them during the call. I'd rather them have all of that right now. So the investment guide is on our website. So then when they inquire now, they will get an automated email of, linking them back to the website. They're like, hey, if you're still like curious about like investment, whatever, go back to our website and you'll see this. And then after that, that's the first email. And then the second email that we actually send them is a personal email that I send to them specifically to their inquiry form, letting them know that we're available for their date. And then they will get an actual proposal from Honeybook that I use. And from that proposal, they can actually select their package collection. So then again, before our call, it's more about them as people versus the investment side of things.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's super cool.
That's great, Louelle.
Yeah, and just going back to what I said about like qualifying leads to not waste your time. Yeah, that is a brilliant way to go. Hey, here's all the information. Like, get on a call. You've got all the information. Yeah, that way you're jumping on a call, and someone is like, versed on what is this going to cost? What does it look like for her and Richard's process? Are they available for this date? And I love that you said that allows them to show up on the call, and for you guys to really just to take a stab at getting to know them. Yeah. And sell. You're really then selling yourselves, like, hey, we're Louelle and Richard, and like you're selling, you want us at your wedding, rather than having to go through all the details of like, here's why you should hire us and blah, 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 blah. So
totally.
That's awesome. I love that.
That's great, Louelle.
So just quickly back to lead gen, Louelle, for the brand side. Let's jump to the brand side now. So you said for weddings, your paid ad funnel has been really, really helpful, which is awesome. And I'm so glad that we got to help you set that up, and you guys have done a great job running that. For the organic side, for the brand side, how are you getting leads? Some of your shoots are $6,000-$8,000. Some of them are even more because you're getting flown across Canada to go shoot. The client's paying for all that. Like, that's incredible stuff. Where are you finding those leads? Because I think there's a lot of people that are in the wedding industry that would love to do what you were doing.
Absolutely.
Where you're getting to serve both the wedding industry and the brand industry, but they go, I have no idea how to get clients. I have no idea how to get clients in the brand industry. So what is your advice, or actually what are you doing? It's maybe a better question to get
Yeah.
the actual leads in the brand industry.
Yes. So what I'm doing right now, especially how I landed those two, like probably my biggest clients right now, our biggest clients right now. One of them was actually a vendor referral. And then the second one, I've been working with them for the last 3 years. So they've actually seen my price when it was like very low. And then I ended up, being able to increase my price as the time goes with them, right? So that one, I connected with their brand marketing manager for the corporate hair salon, and then from that point on, the relationship has been pretty strong, and we shoot pretty much, I would say, like either once or twice a year. This is the second time I've shot their national campaign, so yeah.
Cool. That's amazing.
So cool.
I love that, Louelle.
I love it.
Okay, I'd love to bring up this conversation because I think this is something that happens. This is a question that we get all the time, and it's a question I've lived through and have found my own way of doing this. And I think that there's no right or wrong, but in your opinion, obviously we know your opinion because we know what you've done, but what's your thoughts on shooting both weddings and brands? And when it comes to the brand, separate them? Or can you have it all housed in the same brand? So like
Same
you have
website,
same website,
Instagram.
Instagram, and you shoot both weddings and brands, or separate them. What's been your experience? What have you found to work really well for you? And any advice you'd have for someone who's in your shoes?
What worked really well for me is separating the two businesses, because I have different audiences for both, and I kind of just call them like sister company. And on my website, if they actually want to learn more about me, then they will be able to access either or side of the business. But for me, it worked really great when I separated them, because it's almost like two different personalities. Whereas with the wedding side of things, it's mostly, us on a weekend, maybe a little bit more bubbly in personality and all of those things. Whereas for brands, it's very focused more on like aesthetics and lifestyle. But yeah, so it worked really great for me, like creating different personas for the two different brands that we have. But we do marry them in a way where there's a lot of similarities in the way that we film and photographs also. So I think my biggest tip for anybody is to, I think, just simplify it. And if it works well for you, to just like have one platform to showcase both, and if that works for you, then keep doing it. But if you feel like you're overthinking if you should separate the two, then you should probably do that, because you're already thinking about it, and you probably have different ideas that you want to do. That's the reason why you want to separate the two.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. I always say like a kind of a good rule of thumb that I've found to work really well. And again, not black and white answer, but if you are shooting more weddings and less brands, keeping them in the same works pretty well, because if you primarily, people are going to find your Instagram and search you organically, and it's almost like these inbound inquiries for weddings, where a lot of times with brands, a lot of it's pitching or a lot of it's paid ads. It's like finding companies to organically be following you, and like actually you're generating a lead organically isn't as much the case usually in the brand space. So sometimes that inbound stuff, if you're doing more weddings, you can sometimes manage to just keep it all in the same. But I agree with you, Louelle. And if you are like, it's completely split 50-50, or you're even more so in the brand space, I would separate them. And if you've got, Louelle is an incredibly hard worker. Like I remember you in the mastermind, and we've obviously are working with you now as well. But I remember we would be like, hey, Louelle, like I would change this, this, and this about your website. It'd be like within 12 hours. You're like, great, here's the updated version.
Like, here's the updated version. Let's look at it again. My 6 web
pages that I built, and you are such a fast acting person and so good at that I think you managing two brands totally makes sense. So I love your perspective on that.
Yeah. Here's my best rule of thumb for anybody that's listening. And you girls can tell me if you agree with this. But one of the best reasons to actually split the weddings and brands is I feel like it never makes you have to second guess if you should post something. You know, should I use this for marketing? Where when you're like, I don't know if the brand people would want to see this, so I'm maybe going to not post that. Or, ooh, that's a little bit like too outside of what I think my wedding audience would want to see on this account, even though they're the same. So I'm not going to post that brand piece. And what ends up happening is you end up diluting your marketing to both of those avatars because you're trying to find this like perfect silver lining of what content should go out to a brand that serves both wedding people and brand people. And so, Louelle, you've done a phenomenal job of just going, I'm just going to split these puppies up. Brand account over here, brand website over here, wedding website, wedding, wedding Instagram account over here. And what that's probably done, and you can tell me if you agree with this, but it's probably given you like full freedom to just go, we can post as much as we want on the wedding account. We can post as much as we want on the brand account. Our marketing can be 100% effort towards both of those avatars, and we never have to second guess if it's like misaligned. Is that true?
Exactly. No, that's completely true. And also it's like less overthinking for us where we should post certain content. It's more straightforward for us right now. If it's like, more weddings, then we're just gonna post on Dulce. And if it's brand, then Novella. So it really helped us kind of organize our marketing that way also.
Cool. That's
So
great.
cool.
Love that.
I love it, Louelle. I love it. Well, let's talk mastermind for a second. So when you first jumped into the mastermind, September 2025, I believe it was, you were doing what, like 50, 60 grand a year, I believe. And
Yes. Yeah.
was that prior to you splitting your two brands?
Um, it was a little bit. So back then I was very reactive. So I don't like going back history wise. It's kind of a blur for me, honestly. I
Yeah.
think they were like separated in a way,
I think
but
you had
also
just separated them.
Yeah,
I
maybe.
think you'd
And
just
separated.
separated. I think you had just been, because I remember us helping you build your wedding website for Dulce.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh, what do I do? Blah, blah, blah. So I think it was
Yeah.
right at the inception of that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I
Cool,
don't
cool.
even
I
think
love
I
it.
had a separate business. Yeah, I didn't have a separate website at all for Dulce. It was like all in one.
Yeah.
But Instagram, I think they were separated.
Mhm.
But back then, I was just like focused on brands and less on the website, on the wedding side of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I love it. So here's my question for you. This is something I think a lot of people think about. Why did you join the mastermind? Like, what made you go Creative Rise, this mastermind? I want to work with Joey and Christy. Let's do it.
Yeah. Honestly, before you guys, I had very bad PTSD when it comes to like, classes and mentors and everything. So I was honestly like very hesitant at first. But then after I attended your in-person event in Waterloo, I was like, oh
Which
my
was
gosh,
so
like
awesome.
Yeah, that was fun.
yeah, that was so much fun. And I felt like I got so much value in that hour compared to like anything I have done before. And then after that, I started thinking that I really want to focus on the creative side of my business rather than the business side of business. And then I was like, I just really need somebody else to like teach me to run the business side of things, so then that way I can focus on the creative side of things, right? And you guys like really created a foundation for me at that time. So then it validated, when I joined the mastermind, it validated that I was, doing some of the right things, and also like was showing me what I need to work on and less guessing when it comes to business. So that was kind of like where I was at that time
Love
last year.
I love
That's
it.
crazy.
And what have been some of the biggest catalysts for your growth? Like, what are things that you could tie back to the mastermind going, oh, this is something that I either learned or a relationship I made or something we've all done as a community that's just been really impactful? I know you mentioned the ads earlier. What else about what you've learned have you taken into the business that you think's caused a lot of growth?
A lot of things, honestly. I feel like everything. But the first thing would definitely be the pricing. The pricing calculator I found very helpful, and really everything that was in the module I did was very helpful because it helped me. I think back you guys were talking about like the building stage, the chaos. I forgot like
Yeah.
the
Build.
structure of
The
that.
four stages of business. Yeah. Yeah. Build or
Yeah, the
idea
four-
stage, the build stage, the growth stage, and then the chaos stage.
Exactly. So I feel like that module really broke that down. So then whenever I feel like I'm in the chaos, I just go back to step one again, and then I redo the whole thing. So I found that like very, very helpful. And again, like because I know I have, you guys a community to go back to whenever I feel like I'm in whatever stage I am in, whether I'm celebrating or whether I feel like I'm losing. Then I have the community, the Creative Rise community, to go back to, and like validate or ask questions if I have any. And then again, that helps me to focus on the creative side of the business and less overthinking when it comes to the business side of things.
Yeah,
That's
I love it.
awesome.
So cool. Last question for you here about the mastermind. This is kind of a fun one, but like, how would you quantify the ROI for you and Richard, for your business? I mean, you said when you came into the mastermind, you were doing about like 50, 60 grand a year, and it's only been about a year. Even it's actually been under a year since you first
Under a
started
year.
with us. And the last 2 months you made $57,000, which is pretty insane. I just want to make sure we can recognize this for you, because like
So cool.
sometimes we don't celebrate the cool things that happen in our business enough, and so I really want to make sure that we get to celebrate this
Yes.
for you, because I know it's easy to just kind of keep your head down. Like, you have made in the last 60 days what you used to make in a year, which is insane. So one, congratulations again. So awesome. We're so proud of you guys. But two, like, what would you say the ROI has been? How would you quantify that?
Monetary wise, definitely a lot. Like making what I would have made in 1 year and 2 months is crazy. And that would be like, I guess, a monetary side of things. And then the ongoing ROI would be, again, having that community, having that support when it comes to business side of things. And also, not monetary side, I don't know, I think I told you guys about this, but I was able to go on vacation for the very first time without thinking about work, without thinking
Yeah.
about business. Like on our wedding day, I was thinking about work. So when I joined the Creative Rise, I feel like I definitely got that foundation that I needed from the very beginning, when I thought I could do it all, but really couldn't.
I love
That's
that.
so that's the biggest win. That's the 100% the
Yes.
biggest win of all. So cool.
Getting your business not only financially stable, but like life stable for it to
Yeah.
actually be able to keep going even when you get to turn off is such an amazing win. So, Louelle, I love that. Well, we have our signature ending question, but before we do that, Louelle, where can people find you if they want to follow along on both of your brands?
Perfect. Yes. So you can follow me along at Novella Creative Media for brand side of things, and the Dulce Studios for weddings.
Love it.
Sweet. We'll put those in the description for anybody that wants to follow along. Go
great.
hit her up. Go make sure you follow her on Instagram.
Yes.
And last question, Louelle, why is it worth it to go for it? The big question for us is like, you have gone through a lot of stuff, ups and downs, a lot of late nights, a lot of working and grinding to make your dream of being a self-employed creative a reality, and you're living in that. You're doing a phenomenal job of it. But for someone who's like maybe a little bit behind you on the journey of that, and they're like, oh my gosh, this feels like a big uphill mountain to make this
Is
dream
it worth
happen.
it?
Why is it worth it? What have you found to be worth it for you?
Ooh, that's a very good question, you guys. It's very worth it in many ways, for sure. But I feel like one of the biggest, I think, question that creatives would have when they're starting to like build their business would be, how stable is it? How reliable is it? But honestly, like nothing in life is ever really stable. You can get a full-time job. I've done that before. It's not that stable. COVID will hit, like so many things will just like surprise you in life. But when you have your own business, you have more control of the way that you want to live your life. You have more control in a way that you can match it with your lifestyle, and it's so much better to bet on yourself rather than like depending on somebody else's decision to give you an opportunity, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because like for me back then, I felt like I was always, felt like I had to climb a corporate ladder, or waiting for somebody else's approval to achieve something. But right now, when you have your own business, you have control of your opportunities. You have the say into what you can accomplish and not depend on anybody else.
I love that. That's so good.
So awesome.
That's great. Well, Louelle, this has been so like helpful, fun. Like you have taken your success and have just blessed everyone else with all of this knowledge and all of these learnings and maybe like the trial and error that you went through that maybe now they don't have to, which is really cool. So like anyone listening, send Louelle a message, give her a thank you, give her a shout out on Instagram, tag her and tag Creative Rise, because we just want to celebrate you so much, Louelle, of all you're doing. And we're so excited that we get to walk alongside you as you do it, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So awesome, Louelle. We're proud of you. Say a big hi to Richard for us. And thanks for
Yes.
being on the pod. We'll have to get you back on in like another 6 months or a year from now. Can't
Yes,
wait.
that would be awesome.
I'm excited. Thank you so much, guys.
Well, that was such an amazing episode with Louelle. I feel like there were just so many good gold nuggets from that absolutely fired me up, and fired me up for the people listening that are like, I want to double my income. I want to make in 2 months what I made all of last year. I want forward momentum growth. And I love when she talked about pricing. I love when she talked about paid ads. She talked about so many great things, all stuff that she learned inside of this community of Creative Rise. And as I said at the beginning of this podcast, we are opening up 10 spots at the end of August for September enrollment for the Creative Rise Mastermind. So if you want to work with us, if you want to work with people like Louelle, if you want to work alongside other creatives and actually get the tools and the systems and the accountability to hit 6 figures in your business, we've got 10 spots and 10 spots only opening up. Applications are going to be dropping August 19th. So if you want first access at the application, join our waitlist right now, creativerise.com. We'll give you all the information there. Just a simple jump on in. You don't have to pay anything. It's totally free to join the waitlist. There's no commitment. But if you want to be the first to hear about that application and you want first access to those 10 spots, we would love to see your application come through. So August 19th, that is when that is dropping. And we get started September 1st. It is going to be incredible. So kick off the fall with us, kick off building a 6-figure business foundation with us. We would love to work with you with that. So go follow Louelle, follow Creative Rise, and tag her in your stories if you found a lot of value from this, and share it with a friend. Like, subscribe, all of that helps the show grow and helps more creatives figure out how they can do what they love and get paid well to do it. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for being here.